Authorities say her body was found in her apartment in Fort Bend County, along with the body of a man who killed her on Sunday. And now her family has come forward to share their heartbreak as they search for answers following this disturbing discovery.
I've moved my daughter 3 times just because of my insecurities and the freeze, of course, but she doesn't have friends by her house. I know my daughter, and when I got to my daughter's house, and it was locked up, and she's not answering my phone, which is not like her, I knew something was up, so I didn't hesitate to kick the door down. And what I saw, I wouldn't want any parent to go through. That's the first thing. The second thing is, which is even more hurtful.
She had fame, fortune, and more than 2 million followers, but all of it ended in the blink of an eye when a stalker drove from Florida to Texas to do the unthinkable. Authorities say her body was found inside her apartment in Fort Bend County, alongside the man who killed her. For her family, the shocking discovery shattered their world, leaving them with nothing but grief and unanswered questions. Welcome to Untold Crime Chronicles, where we uncover the darkest stories that were never meant to be forgotten. If you love true crime and want more chilling cases like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because you don't want to miss what comes next. Janae Gagne, known to millions online as Mercedes Moore, was born on November 26, 1987, in Houston, Texas. She grew up in a loving but complicated household alongside her younger sister, London. Her parents, Mark Gagne and Janetta Grover, were both military veterans who later transitioned into civilian life by running a family restaurant. Although her parents eventually divorced, Janae remained close to both of them and was especially adored as a daddy's girl and her mother's best friend. From a young age, Janae was ambitious and business-minded. At just 12 years old, she was already braiding hair in her garage to make money. She was intelligent, creative, and had an entrepreneurial spirit that everyone noticed early on. But like many children of divorced parents, she faced emotional challenges. She and her sister split their time traveling between Texas and California to be with their parents, and this constant back and forth sometimes caused Janae to lash out. Even in high school, she was known to get into conflicts with classmates, though friends and family described her as fun, fashionable, and driven. After graduating high school, Janae enrolled in college to study dental assistance. However, her life took a sharp turn when she fell in love and moved to Las Vegas with her boyfriend. It was there that she began working as a dancer in strip clubs. Embracing her new career path, she adopted the name Mercedes Moore. Mercedes symbolizing luxury and Moore representing her constant desire for more success. At first, her parents worried about her lifestyle change. But when Mercedes began making as much as $5,000 a weekend, they gradually accepted her choices. Over time, Mercedes became one of the most sought-after dancers in Las Vegas and Houston, but she didn't stop there. She leveraged her growing popularity to build a presence online, especially on Instagram. Her striking looks, confidence, and personality quickly attracted attention. Before long, Mercedes had over 2.6 million followers. She transitioned from club dancing into social media modeling, collaborating with celebrities like Drake, Travis Scott, and Offset. She eventually joined OnlyFans, where she was able to connect directly with her fans and earn a substantial income. With her fame and financial independence growing, she began planning to launch her own clothing line and expand her business ventures. Behind the glamour, however, Mercedes lived with fear. Fame came at a cost. Her address had once been leaked online in a doxing incident, and ever since then, she felt unsafe. She constantly worried about stalkers and unwanted attention. She became extremely careful about what she posted online, though small details sometimes still slipped through. In search of greater security, she moved into the Cortland Apartments in Richmond, Texas, a gated community with moderate safety measures. For Mercedes, it seemed like a fresh start in a more secure environment. Despite her success, her personal life was often complicated. She had been in relationships, But many of the men she dated wanted her to quit her online modeling and OnlyFans work, which was her main source of income. Most of her relationships ended quickly. Eventually, she began seeing a man who accepted her career and even talked with him about marriage and children, something she had never mentioned before. But while her romantic life seemed stable, her fears of being stalked only intensified. On August 29, 2021, her father, Mark, received a disturbing call from his younger daughter, London. She hadn't heard from Janae in days. This was alarming because Janae was known to be very close to her family. What was even more unusual was that she hadn't posted on Instagram in 3 days. For someone with her level of fame, posting daily was part of her life and career. Mark realized something was wrong. Earlier that month, Janae had asked her father to come stay with her while her boyfriend was out of town because she didn't like being alone. The last time they spoke on the phone was 10 days before her death. Now, silence. Concerned, Mark decided to drive to her apartment to check on her. When he arrived, he saw her BMW parked outside. He knocked on the door, but there was no answer. He called her phone repeatedly, but still nothing. Trusting his instincts, he decided not to wait. He forced the door open, fearing the worst. What he saw inside was every parent's nightmare. Janae's body was lying at the bottom of the stairs, motionless and badly injured. At first, Mark thought she might have suffered a terrible accident. But as he looked around the apartment, the horrifying truth became clear. The home was in disarray, with blood visible in multiple areas. On the walls, disturbing messages were scrawled in lipstick. Phrases like, "I should have stayed in Florida," "I was used," and "I wish I never loved her." They revealed the twisted thoughts of someone obsessed. When Mark went upstairs, he discovered a man lying on the floor with a knife in his neck, twitching and gasping. He soon realized the man had stabbed himself. Within moments, the intruder died before his eyes. Authorities later identified him as Kevin Alexander Accordo.
By our house. I know my daughter, and when I got to my daughter's house, and it was locked up, and she's not answering my phone, which is not like her, I knew something was up, so I didn't hesitate to kick the door down.
A 34-year-old man from Florida. Investigators later confirmed that Kevin had driven from Florida to Texas with the sole purpose of confronting Janae. He had no criminal record beyond minor traffic violations, but his obsession with Mercedes had escalated into violence. The autopsy revealed that Janae had died from strangulation and blunt force trauma to the head, proving she had been overpowered in a brutal assault before being killed. Kevin's death was ruled a suicide. There were no signs that Janae and Kevin had ever met before. Police found no evidence of a personal relationship. It appeared that Kevin had been following her online for years and finally acted on his delusional obsession. The news of her death spread quickly. Fans, friends, and celebrities expressed their shock and sorrow. Hashtags like #RIP, Mercedes Mo began trending. Some organized vigils, while others shared heartfelt tributes online. But alongside the grief came rumors and misinformation. False claims spread that she had died from AIDS, COVID-19, or even at the hands of a sugar daddy.
And it went from false accusations of HIV or COVID to other things, and nobody even reached out to talk to her.
Her family worked hard to push back against these lies, emphasizing the truth. She was the victim of a violent stalker. For her parents, the loss was unbearable. Mark, who discovered her body, described the scene as something no parent should ever experience. Her mother, Janetta, remembered her as sweet, loving, and family-oriented. Her sister, London, shared emotional posts on social media, mourning the devastating loss of her best friend. Celebrities also expressed their condolences. Rapper Tory Lanez shared his shock on Instagram, and Drake dedicated his album Certified Lover Boy to her memory. But no amount of tributes could undo the tragedy that had unfolded. The investigation revealed no signs of forced entry into her apartment, raising questions about how Kevin gained access. Some speculated that he may have followed her into the gated community or slipped inside while she entered. Others suggested that details she posted online may have helped him track her down. The precise way he entered remains a mystery. The tragedy of Mercedes Moore highlights the dangers of fame in the digital age. Her success brought her wealth and recognition, but it also exposed her to unwanted attention, harassment, and obsession. Despite taking precautions, she became the target of a man whose infatuation turned deadly. For her family, she will always be remembered not as the glamorous figure known online, but as Janae, the daughter, sister, and friend who loved deeply and brought joy to those around her. Her story remains a chilling reminder of the risks that come with fame and the devastating cost of obsession left unchecked.
With them as she is with us. She took care of people. She's just a sweetheart. And my baby's gone from a tragic event that didn't have to happen. And it's just dangerous. She just was so happy and so funny and just so loving, and she just loved to
It would be all
around.
about her.
Yeah, as it is.
We wouldn't be up here. It would be all about you.
As it should be. As about her. And again, we're going to remember that amazing spirit, that funny laugh, that 4'11" body, but that 8-foot tall, experience that we all got. So I appreciate her and love her, and we'll miss her forever and ever. Ever and ever.
Also, remember to subscribe and turn on post notifications to make sure you get all the shocking stories.